I made $750 in less than 8 hours shorting UJ. So right here, you can see that I shared my profits on my live account. So this is one trade, and then this is another trade right here, $251 on my live account. All right. I did also share this in my trade signals. So if you can see, this is a UJ 7R multiple. Basically, it's a trade idea. I don't really like doing like the signals where I tell exactly the stop losses and then take profits, but I zoomed in on that 1 hour just to show people that price is near that resistance for a good short. All right. I also have my TradeZella, so you can actually see exactly where I entered. You can see exactly how much I risked on this trade. So right here, I risked $79 to yield $421. That is a crazy R multiple. And then the other short was right here. So I got in right around here to make $230 net. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the trade. You can see that I am on the 4 hours. So just like the trade idea that you saw in my Discord, let's just go ahead and break it down. So what you're going to see is basically price coming towards this resistance. So I'm going to play it out for you guys just to show you what it looks like. And then, all right, boom. So now we see price near that resistance area. And that was a wake-up call for me. I'm like, all right, what is happening? I need to pay attention to basically price. Oh, okay. I mean, I kind of went forward a little bit too much, but it's okay. So you can see this arrow that's pointing down. I was paying attention to this area to look for shorts. I zoomed in on the 15-minute to get even more confirmation. And then you can see right here, this was my entry, right? So right around here, that's what I got into the trade. And I believe I actually got into the trade right around here, right? So long story short, what I typically do and look at is I do one of two things. I either look at EMAs, so I use the 21, the 9, and then also the 50. But because price was near that resistance, I didn't really need to take out my EMAs to look for any other confirmations because we were at the 4 hour high, we were also at the 1 hour high, and then we were also on the 15-minute. This was another confirmation that gave me a lot of confidence. So let me go ahead and zoom in on that part really quick. So right here, you're gonna see this orange buy side liquidity. And so when this automatically popped up on that 15-minute time frame, it was go time for me to get into this trade. So you can see there's consolidation happening right here. And then price started basically going bearish, and that's when I decided to enter. I put my stop loss above that buy side liquidity, and then I put my target down here towards that sell side liquidity, right? So this basically our multiple is a 3.58. Price starts falling. We have another fair value gap that basically formed, and then price just tanked. All right, so let's go ahead and continue playing it, right? And then boom. So right here, this arrow was when I actually got out of the trade. Okay, and that's basically a good risk to reward ratio, right? I didn't need to basically take this trade all the way down here because I was happy with what that day gave me. So I almost got a 2R multiple on this trade. I think it was a little bit lower. I think it was like 1.96, but you can see that this is just a simple setup. You see there was an exhaustion wick right here. Basically, that is the buy side liquidity. So, the big players in the world are stopping out all the little players, and then we see an immediate sell-off. So I caught 77 pips on that move, and then let's go ahead and continue to play this forward. So now price is, oh, wait. Damn. So basically I got into another short right here. So you can see it. You can see that my entry was right around here. Okay. And what I was looking for was basically price respecting a specific structure. So right here, this black horizontal line, that was basically a support area, right? It wasn't necessarily a super strong one, but as you guys can tell, I see multiple touch points at this level. So we see price respecting around here. We see a little bit of consolidation right here, and then we see a break, a retest underneath the support, and then we see that fair value gap that actually just pops up right here with my indicator that I'm using, right? So that was two confirmations. No, that was three confirmations in one. We have the break, the retest, and then we also have basically this support being broken. So I got into the trade right around here, and then this was another 3 to 1 risk reward. So a little over 3 to 1, and I caught 32 pips on this one. So let's go ahead and see where price went, right? So it literally tanked, but you can see I have another another area of interest where I wanted to take my take profit, right? So this level right here was basically where I wanted to take my profits. So let's go ahead and zoom in on that 15 minute so we can all see the extra details. And then you're going to basically see the break and retest look a little bit more dramatic because I'm on a smaller time frame. But yeah, so this was the break right here, all the way down there. It retests. And then if you zoom in a little bit on the 15 minute, right, you can see a fair value gap on this 15 minute over here looking left in history. But then we also see a buy side liquidity, right? So when price started coming up here to this area, I'm looking at all of these wicks, right? I'm looking at all of this exhaustion. And then this last one right here after that main retest, that's when I started to get into shorts. So looking over here to the right, you can see this was my entry right around here where that wick kind of hit, right? So basically what I'm looking for re-entries is one of two things. I'm either looking for a significant break and retest, and if there's not a significant break and retest, then I'm also looking for fair value gaps that are respecting basically an expansion move, right? So this was the first leg. We need a little bit of consolidation, basically regroup, and then a continuation. So what really pushed UJ all the way down here, I could have made a lot more, but I was looking at price action. So on the 15-minute time frame, we see another area, basically another support area, and this is also the sell side liquidity, just looking left. So right here, you can see multiple touch points. We have one touch point, two touch points. Here is that liquidity grab, and then moving forward, this was the move down to this area. So this was my take profit area right here, and you can see that's where I put it, right? So this indicator is great if you're not familiar with ICT. It's basically kind of like a cheat code to really understand where price is magnetized towards, right? Like price action is one thing, support resistance, but liquidity zones are very similar, but it's a better reference to go off of because you're going to be able to see basically the market makers playing around at that area. So there's typically a huge impulse move before the move back up, and then and vice versa. So you can see right here, there was a huge impulse up right before the sell-off. So those are indicators. It's scalable. So if you go down to the 15-minute time frame, you're going to be able to see it, and then you're also going to be able to see those impulse moves, right? Those liquidity hunts on higher time frames. All right, so here's the indicator that I use for extra confirmations. It's called the moving average exponential times 4. What I do is I go to settings and then I change the inputs to what I prefer. So the first one is 9, the second one is 21, and then the third is 50. Okay, so I'm gonna take off the fourth one, and then now, right, if I scale back out, I'm looking for basically multiple time frames that are respecting the EMAs on at least 2 time frames. If there's 3, then we have great confluence, but if there's 2, then we're good. So on the 4-hour time frame, you can see price is near the resistance, but the EMAs aren't really bearish, right? So if we look at the overall picture, price is above the EMAs, which means, price is above the EMAs, which means price is bullish. Once they start becoming under the EMAs, then we're going to be looking bearish, right? So the higher time frames, it's harder to look at that overall detail, but let's go ahead and look at the 1 hour. Okay, cool. So right around here, right, that was my first entry, and we can see that price starts falling below that EMA, and that was right around my entry, right? So we had that consolidation, we're near that resistance. We also see that buy side liquidity right here, that impulse move before the downwards movement. And then we also see this big candle. So this is just, there's just multiple confirmations when it comes to the setup. And that's why I got in for that trade. Okay, so actually I got into the trade around right here. But anyways, so let's go ahead and go down to the 15-minute time frame, and then you can see it again, right? So this arrow was my second entry, and it lines up with basically what I was talking about earlier on, right? So I got into a sell right around in this area. We can see the fair value gap that just formed, and then we also see, right, big red candles being formed, and eventually starting to respect and come under the EMAs, which is a very bearish sign. So once they start crossing over underneath, then we're looking at a bearish tone, right? So, right, looking over here to the right, we see price coming down underneath the EMAs, and then boom, we sell off to around this area. So this huge impulse was because of economic news. So I actually made more money because of slippage. Slippage was good for me because it didn't actually take profit right here. It kind of took profit like right around here because the move was so impulsive. That's all I got. Hopefully this made some sense. If you want to join my free Discord, I do share those trade ideas. I do chat with all of my members. I don't do any upsells. I don't sell courses. I don't sell anything. All I do is basically trade. If you want to be a part of that and ask any questions, feel free. I know trading is a lonely sport, so feel free to hop in and let's get it.